Hi everyone, I welcome you all to this masterclass. My name is Professor Temi Akinwumi. I've been in tech for over 26 years and I'll be your instructor for this masterclass today. We're going to be looking at the Cybersecurity CAP certification, ISC squared certification. And is a masterclass. This is actually the gateway, one of the non-technical cybersecurity courses that can easily allow you to get into cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a high-paying and lucrative, um, high-income role position. So you can become a cybersecurity analyst. So this is a 8-week course. I'm going to do a masterclass whereby I will introduce you to this course. Please follow me closely. This is a short overview. We're going to be looking at the logistics as administration. We look at introduction and overview about the exam and the information security process and concept, and look at the risk management framework, which is a framework in which you're going to be learning in this course. A quick introduction about myself. My name is Prof. Temi Akinwumi. I've been in tech for over 26 years. I'm the CEO of Talk Group Technologies, and we're an IT company. We're located in Lago, Maryland. And I've been the CEO of this company for over 16 years. I've been to security and software engineering. And I have bachelor's in computer science from University of District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. I have master in software engineering and also master in information assurance cybersecurity from University of Maryland. Right now, I'm working on my PhD in advanced computer security. I've supported major corporation, Fortune 500 corporation over the course of my life, and I've supported the Army, I'm in the Pentagon for more than 15 years. I'm also an adjunct professor right now at like 3 universities. So we're going to be looking at why it's important that we get into security. This is one of our diverse classroom, people from different background. Inclusion, diversity and inclusion is a thing. I'm really proud to share that everyone is welcome, especially women in technology, women that are trying to get in. You know, you can see some people are older, some people are younger, some different skin color. We embrace and support, our diverse classrooms. Also, we are a award-winning company. I'm proud to kind of this also showcase some of the awards that we receive over the course of the year, so you will know who you're actually working with. And this is some of the awards that I received. Like me, my name is Temi Akinwumi from State of Maryland, from the Maryland House of Assembly. This one is from the Charles County Commissioners Award. This one is from the Senate. This one is from the US Congress. So it goes on and on. I have some award from United Nations and some commissioners and so on and so forth. So there are a couple series of awards that I've received. Just last year, I received this award for being the Diversity Trailblazer of the Year 2020 from the Cybersecurity Association of Maryland. And excellent, supports these awards from last year. So I'm very passionate about this. I'm creating a community whereby we are, empowering people to get into tech. I'm very passionate about this. I'm passionate about giving back to my community and helping a lot of people. Right now, I've met over 1,000 engineers, and I'm so passionate about giving back. So we have different courses also we offer, different area. Of technologies. This is one of our slide into the different courses that we offer. We are located in Lago, Maryland. This is our address, and everything is on this flyer. This is another of our diversity classrooms. You can see people, you don't need to have IT background to be in tech. You don't need to have college degree. No college degree is required. You can see some young folks that are just finished from college. Some of these folks, they are working now, making 6-digit income, and they are still just getting into college. And some older people also working in tech. So it doesn't matter what your background is. We are one community, and my goal is to continue to empower our community and to give back to our community. So age is not even a constraint. So you can see we are like one family. These are all my students. This is me right here. These are all my students. I have a testimony. One of this, I'm not going to points at any of them, but one of these older folks, so you might be thinking some people are older and well, I'm too old, I can't really do this, but you can. Some other folks here just got a job yesterday, pretty much a job as a lead. And I just finished talking to them to kind of guide them into what they need in the first day. They're starting in June and we're excited for them. So, and some other younger folks are getting into the job market. So it's very important that you know that it's not too late for you. Tech is the future. Cybersecurity especially is the future. So getting into tech right now is a great thing to do. And I'm here to help you, to mentor you, and to make sure that you achieve your goal. So we are not only preparing you for exam, which I'm going to prepare you for, we're preparing you for the job. And the good thing is that you don't even have to have done the exam to get into cyber. This cybersecurity authorization professional class, you don't need to have passed the exam. You can get a job without even doing the exam. Half of my students have not done the exam yet and they are working. So there's a shortcut to things and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm here to mentor you and to train you and to show you how you can actually get into tech without even finishing your certification yet. So when you finish your 8-week course, I'm just pretty much telling you that you can get into tech. Another catch is that I'm going to be giving you a free bonus with this course. I said cybersecurity, cap, and security tools. So there's some tools that you need to understand. I'm going to be giving it to you for free, and it's going to be part of this course. So that when you finish your 8 weeks course, you will see some module that has tools in them, tools that high-level security officers are using in the industry. You are getting all of this thing for half of the price because right now you will note that these courses are so expensive out there. I make it very affordable and at the same time I'm adding more to it and I'm even here to support you. And if you notice that you're not getting anything from the class, that's okay. I'll give you your money back in 30 days. That's okay, guaranteed, but I'm here to support you and I'm sure you will love it. So we're going to be looking at the risk management framework. So we're going to be looking at from prepare to categorizing the information system, establishing the control baseline, application security, access control, authorization, monitoring, vulnerability management, and looking at the capstone project. So that's what you are getting from here. So you're getting all of this thing in one, and I'm going to be breaking this thing down. So every week in this course, you'll be learning about these different steps. You are not only paying for this course, you are paying for mentorship, you are paying for support, you are paying for being in the community of people that can help you. So you can be part of our community online. We have all this community set up. So we get access to our website on ituniversity.com. You'll be able to access resources. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're supporting you. I'm giving you resources that will guide you into the job market. There's no online course that you go to that will offer you how to do your resume, that will offer you how to create your LinkedIn profile, that will offer you all of this. I'm giving you all of this, plus security tools, plus how to create all this your profile to be ready for the job market. So I'm giving you all of those things as well. So this is about the exam. You don't have to get the exam yet, but I'll prep you for the exam. I'll give you all the past, the questions for the exam and everything. Nobody's going to do that. They cost a lot of money. These are my resources that I have. I'm going to share with you. You're going to see it in the class and you can have access to these resources as well. So we're going to look at some security process and concept that I want you to take away, to understand. We're going to be looking at those today. And we're going to be looking at some standards and regulation. We're going to be looking at some security authorization process, some role and responsibility. We're going to look at some NIST document and so on and so forth. So let's get in. How did everything get started? We'll talk about cybersecurity. Before in the olden days, right, we used to have war. Like country would go against country during war. But now everything is online. So that's when the arms of government, we have the Capitol, the White House, the Supreme Court, legislative, executive, judicial, everybody came together and had a meeting and decide how do we make sure we are ready for what is coming in the future at that time. So that's how they enacted and decide to start working on cybersecurity. The IT budgets came out and they said through the OMBA 130 Appendix 3, which I'm going to be, when you get into the course, you will see all of this package each week. The courses will be week by week by week. Okay, 8-week course with additional of the security tools that you also have. 8-week course, you'll be able to see all of this are broken down in the class section with me, and then you'll be able to see all the tools and all the documents, everything explained to you. Okay, so the executive, the Office of Management and Budget, NIST, they all came together, as well as all the Department of Transportation, Labor, Homeland Security, Department of Commerce came together and decide, okay, let's start looking at security. What do we have to do? They put the budget together. And they had this circular, the OMB circular. What is the OMB circular saying? The purpose of this circular is to establish a minimum set of controls. Controls are checklists of security, security items, security procedures in which we're going to safeguard the the infrastructure, and the whole infrastructure of our organization, of an enterprise. So we have to establish minimum set of controls based on the categorization of the system. If the system is a high level system, these are how we secure it. If it's a medium level, moderate level system, this is how we secure it. If it's a low level system, this is security that we need on it. So these are minimum set of controls. We also assign federal agencies responsibility for the security of automated information systems, so that we know, okay, this agency is doing this agency is doing that. Then we also link agencies, automated information security programs. We link all agencies together so that they can collaborate and discuss, so that it's not like this agency is doing whatever they want and this one is doing whatever they want. No, everybody comes together and work together. So it's very, very important in cybersecurity. Agencies are working together. So here you're gonna notice that we're gonna be mentioning a couple of definitions. We talk about application. What is an application? Every single day you talk about app. What is an app? An app pretty much means the use of information resources, information and technology to satisfy a specific set of user requirement. So that means there's going to be a user, a customer that will come to an organization and will tell them, can you please create for me an app to be able to track my students? Maybe it's a school, or they might say, it might be a retailer like Costco or Walmart, and say, can you please create for me an app that will be using for my employees or for my customers that are coming to buy from my organization, something like that, right? That's an app. So that means the user has a requirement and then they give it to a company or an organization to create an app for them. So application is built based on the user requirements. So you have some resources that we use to build an application. So that's an app. General support system and general system. So what are general support systems? It means interconnected systems, a set of informations, so we have some set of systems that are connected. They have a set of general resources under the same direct management control. So they share common functionalities, and they have normally include hardware, software, information, data, application, communication, and people. So that means that you will have some system that will be for general support, for general system. They are connected, they share similar, and similar common functionalities, so that's what they are, and they work together. So generally for support, and those are important. So you see me discussing about those things. Major application. So there are some applications that are major. Okay, there are some applications that are major application, and means an application that requires specific attention, special attention, and special applications that are used in in the White House, the Pentagon, and these other organizations that are very need their data. We need to protect their data, sensitive data. Some of them are very major because they need special attention to security due to the risk and the magnitude of harm that can result from the loss, misuse, or unauthorized access. So that means if anybody can actually get access to this application and they misuse it and make in such a way that they are unauthorized to get there, they modify the data, then there's a problem. So those are major applications and need to be protected. So you see me discussing about those things too. Also, we're going to be discussing about some concept of information security process. So concept like basic terms like threats. What is threats? What is vulnerability? What is risk management, risk assessment? You see me talk about that in this masterclass. You also see me talk about security system risk. What is at the basic requirement? System risk, potential impact. What is a potential impact? Security control, data classification, adequate controls. You see me discussing all of that. This is just an agenda. This is an overview. I always have an overview slide before the major slide so that you can prepare your mind and see what we are trying to get into. Also going to be discussing about system development life cycle. What is a system development life cycle? We're going to talk about that. Risk management. We're going to talk about risk management as well. And we're going to talk about different standard and regulation and roles and responsibilities. Okay. So now we're talking about okay, let me put this here for you so you can see me. We're talking about information security. Some basic terms that we're going to look at is asset. What is an asset? An asset is what we are trying to protect. So asset is not only your computer and stuff, it's also people, property, data, information that you have. All these are very important. They are the asset that you are trying to protect. We're also going to talk about threat. What is threat? Threat is anything that can exploit your vulnerability. A threat is what we are trying to protect against. You want to protect against threat. So anything that can exploit your vulnerability intentionally, accidentally, and obtain damage or destroy your asset. Anything like someone that's hacking into your system is a threat. It can also be natural disaster like hurricane, like flood, like tornado. Those are also threats. It can be fire. Those are also threats. So there are different types of threats. You see or discuss all of these things. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is weakness and gap in security efforts. Vulnerability is weakness. So if you have a weakness and gap in your security effort, even though you are trying to secure the system and all of that, but you are still vulnerable, and then you can be attacked. So when you have vulnerability, that means a threat can exploit you. So on your system. So weakness or gap in a security effort that can be exploited by threat to gain unauthorized access to an asset. So a vulnerability is a weakness or gap in your protection efforts. So that's a weakness. Excuse me. So for example, if you have a system that doesn't have a firewall setup, that system is vulnerable. If you have a system, which when I say system, I mean a computer in this instance. If you have a computer system that doesn't have antivirus on them, then it's vulnerable, you understand? So all these are vulnerabilities. If you have an app that you're using and you have a weak password, you are vulnerable. If you have a computer system that you don't have your updates done on time, and it's saying you have updates but you don't do your updates, so you are missing some update, you are vulnerable because you never know what those updates are meant to control, to protect you against. You understand? So what is likelihood? Likelihood is the probability that a potential vulnerability may exploit that your assets. It's likely that a threat will exploit that your asset because you are vulnerable, but we are not sure. It's possible. It might be that they will, but we don't know. That's a probability. Likelihood is likely, but we're not sure. So what is risk? What is risk? Let's look at risk. Risk is the potential for loss, damage, or destruction of an asset as a result of threats exploiting your vulnerability. So risk formula means you're going to have an asset, a threat, and vulnerability. When you have your vulnerabilities, asset, and threat together, I use the formula VAT, make you easy to remember: vulnerability, asset, and threat. When you have all of this thing in place, then you can have risk. Okay, so risk means there's a potential of loss. It's possible damage or destruction of assets, but it might, if the probability is low or the likelihood is low, it might not happen. So when you have all of this in place, you can actually have threats. So we have actual, conception, and inherent threats. We'll get to that later. So looking at this diagram, you can see we have our threats, we have asset, we have vulnerability. When all of these things are existing on their own, when they exist on their own, then we don't have any threats. We don't have any risk. So threat is by itself, asset is by itself, vulnerability is by itself, we have low risk. But when they come together two by two, it's medium risk. But when they all come together, all of the three, then we have high risk. That's the red zone, red zone. Okay, so I'm just using this to showcase to you what a network will look like. This is a network environment. We're not going to be doing this in this class, but I just want to show you what a network environment will look like. Okay, so you're going to have this a firewall network, the routers and the IP address and all of that. This is a non-technical course, but I just want to show you what a network diagram looks like. I just always show my students extra things, and this is how a server room will look like. Okay, so also I want us to also look at impact. What is an impact? When we talk about impact is the magnitude of harm that can be expected to result from consequences of unauthorized disclosure. So it's possible that there might be unauthorized disclosure of information, modification of information, or destruction of information, or there may be loss of information. When this happens, it might be a high impact, because if this kind of thing happens and it's like a big, oh my God, this is going to destroy the organization. So it might be a high impact. It might be low impact or moderate impact or low impact. We get into that as we go into the other slide. So the impact level, the magnitude of harm that can occur because of explosion, unauthorized disclosure, modification, or destruction of information. In the next slide, you'll be seeing how this is going to be breaking down further. So we're going to also be looking at different types of security. We're going to be looking at basic things as adequate security. So when we have this kind of risk and we have this kind of vulnerability, what do we do to make sure that our system is secured? So we're seeing in the next slide, you'll be seeing me talking about adequate security and risk. You see me looking at the security objectives when we talk about disclosure of information, modification of information, availability of information. We'll discuss that, potential impact, security controls, and data classification. These are some of the terms that we're going to be discussing as we go into the next slide. This is a cover sheet. Okay, adequate security. Adequate security means security that commensurate with risk and the magnitude of harm resulting from loss, misuse, unauthorized access to or modification of information. So that means that look at this diagram. This diagram shows that there's an asset, which is you're trying to protect this asset. It can be your computer, it can be your network, it can be people that works for you. So this is an asset. And then the vulnerability is that this asset it has a weak security. Okay, and the threat is coming to exploit this vulnerability. So it can get into this asset and destroy this asset. But what happens when we have adequate security in place? This blue one is the adequate security. So that what would they do? It will enforce security. It will commensurate with the risk, so that the risk will not happen. So when you have adequate security in place, then you are safe and secure. So in this class, we'll talk about the security that we can use to mitigate the risk, or to stop the risk, or to transfer the risk. So adequate security in place will always match the risk that is coming. Security objective. Why do we do security? Why is security important? So you always see this security objective. We call this CIA. CIA. So CIA is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We call this CIA triad. It's a triangle, right? CIA triad. Confidentiality means prevent the disclosure of information to unauthorized individual or systems. So that means when there's a loss of confidentiality, it means unauthorized disclosure of information has happened. But we don't want unauthorized people to get access to our information. So confidentiality is very important in security. That's number one. Number two, integrity. Prevent the unauthorized modification or destruction of information. So you don't want somebody to come into your system and then have access to your system and unauthorized access, then they modifying the system and destroying the data. And you know, so when you have loss of integrity, it means there's unauthorized modification of information. Okay. The availability, ensure timely and reliable access to and use of information. You want to always have access to your information. You don't want to get a situation whereby you want to access information and it's not there. So I'll give you examples of this so you can understand it more. Loss of availability is the destruction of access to or use of information and information system. So let's look at confidentiality, number one. So when there's a loss of, when confidential is unauthorized disclosure of information, a third party, someone that doesn't have need to know about is an information, you don't share it with them. So how do you protect your information? By doing encryption or locking the information up, making sure it's not accessible to them, setting a username and password, making sure that only authorized people can get access to this information. You know, all these things are ways in which you can protect your information under confidentiality. You can encrypt it. You can use strong password, username, and all of that. That is confidentiality. Integrity, that means someone can unauthorized modification, somebody getting access to a system and they're making changes and changing everything. For example, a bank, somebody getting into the bank and changing all the zeros. Hopefully they're going to give you more money. I'm just kidding. Like, changing all the zeros and said, you used to have $10. Now they say you have 10,000. you know, that's a good one, but it's not good because it's not your money. But let's say you have a million and they change it to $10. It's all zeros. The only zeros I change, but that is integrity. So you don't want a situation whereby unauthorized modification and destruction is happening to your system. You understand? And then availability, making sure the system is available. It's not disrupted. For example, if I'm in this studio right now in this classroom and then something happened, everything just went off. Maybe the internet went off or the power went off. What will happen? We are no more available online. So ensure timely and reliable access to your information is very key because your customer will not be happy when they don't have access to their system, right? So that's very important to have the CIA guy behind us at all times. So also I want us to look at potential impacts. What is potential impact? So that means if there's in any situation whereby we might have a data breach. So there are three levels of impact. Should there be a data breach to a loss of our CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So that means if our confidentiality is impacted, integrity is impacted, availability is impacted in a negative way, then we might say it's a low impact, it's a moderate impact, or it's an high impact. It's an high impact. So when we say low impact, that means the event has a limited adverse effect on organizational operations, asset, and individual. So when there's a limited adverse effect, so that means we don't really feel it that much. It's minor harm to individual. Nobody is dying. It doesn't really affect us. We don't really feel it. It's like somebody has an accident. Somebody have an accident and they said the accident is minor. It's maybe just a crack or a dent. No, or we don't even see it's just a crash, a little scratch on the car. So that's a minor impact. We don't really feel it. If it's a moderate impact, that means there's a serious adverse effect on organization, operation, and asset and individual. So a serious adverse effect. So that means it's moderate. It's significant. There's no loss of life or serious life-threatening injury, but we can feel that this is going to impact us a little, we're going to get back. It's serious, but nobody died. When we say high impact, that means there's a catastrophic adverse effect on the organization, on the asset, on the individual. So it's major. So that means there's a loss of life and serious life-threatening injuries. So that is high impact. See, it's in all red. It's terrible. It's bad. People died. so that's potential impact. So you can see CIA can have big impact on organization. You understand? So we're also going to look at security controls. Security control is very important in life of a cybersecurity analyst. This course will also introduce your security controls. Before the event, during the event, and after the event, we have preventive control. They're intended to prevent an incident from occurring. Okay, so when an incident occurs, before an incident is occurring, we can prevent the incident. How do we prevent incident from occurring? By using locks, locking out unauthorized intruders. People are trying to get in, we are locking them out. During the event, we have detective to control. They're intended to identify, characterize, and incidents in the process. So incident is already happening, we detect it's happening, and we send an alarm or alert the security officer or guards. So that is detective control. It detects it and it alerts. We have corrective control after the fact. After it has really happened, then the extent to which the damage has occurred after the event, what do we do? By recording the organization, recovering the organization to a normal working status as efficiently as possible. So we correct all the wrongs, we fix all the fixes and make sure the system can come back up. So that's correcting. We are correcting the what has happened. The vulnerability is corrected, all the threats, everything that we need to do on threat intelligence is done, and vulnerability management is done. There's other control also we're going to be looking at deterrent control. They are control that discourage security violation. It deters the incident from even happening. For instance, the presence of security cameras might deter an employee from stealing equipment. Okay. We also have something we call compensating control. They're intended to reduce the risk of an existing or potential control weakness. So that means that there's a missing control. There's a gap in the control efforts. And then you know that there's a gap there. You will put another control to compensate for the ones that are not effective enough. It's like an extra level of effort. We'll also be discussing that in the class. Also, another thing I want you to also note is data classification. Data classification is the process of assign a level of sensitivity to data as it's being created, it's being amended, enhanced, stored, or transmitted. So we want to make sure the data is secure. Because data is sensitive, you see people talking about top secret data. It's a sensitivity level. Secret data, top secret is the highest level of security. I want you to also note that when you work on projects, top secret level data, both the data, the project, the people that works on it, the facility will have the same level of clearance. Same level of clearance as everybody, as everything else. You have to classify data based on their level. They have to be controlled and secured. Top level is the highest level, followed by secret. It's highly confidential level. It's lower than top secret. Then we have confidential, which are very, like secured, private. You don't share with everybody. Internal use is for only the certain private people only, and public is for everybody. So these are data classification that you see in security. Also, system development life cycle is very important. There are 5 phases, and it's a typical system development life cycle will have 5 phases, and there are minimum set of security tasks needed to effectively incorporate security in the system development process. So when you are developing a system, there are different phases of that system. It's like the beginning of life of a person and the end of life of a person. In many years ago, I'm sure in college or in high school, in high school, or maybe middle school or elementary school, you will have learned things about a life cycle of a housefly, a life cycle of mosquito, life cycle of different, you know, flowers and plants and stuff, right? So everything has a beginning of life and end of life. The same thing with systems. There's always a beginning of life and end of life. We have the first in this system development life cycle. The first phase is initiation. What is initiation phase? The task under initiation is need and purpose, business case. So this is where the customer, who is the owner of the system, that want to build an app or build a system, we have to meet the company that want to build it for them and discuss, this is what I need. So this is my need, and this is the why I need it. So we need to understand the business case so that we can, this is when we gather requirements. Then we have development and acquisition. This is when the developers will now take this business case and start designing, purchasing, or developing. So they may design it, they may have to buy it off the shelf or develop it from scratch. Okay, so this is development acquisition. They may have to develop it or buy it on the shelf. Acquisition means they have to buy it from somewhere and customize it for the customer. Implementation now is when we test the system. After testing and we know that it's functional, then the system owner will accept, and then we will install it for them to use it. Give them access to it. After this, the next phase is operation and maintenance. So that means the system will now become operational. We know that system owner will still be asking for maybe the have new functionalities, right? So we'll be making changes to the system, and we are maintaining the system. It's live, but we are still working on it. So that's operations and maintenance. After a while, the system owner might decide they want to dispose it. They don't want need it anymore. They want to retire it. So that's retirement. So some part of the system or all the system might be retired. So that is the last phase of a system development life cycle. Okay, so everything that has a beginning of life will always have an end of life. Okay, but so now, why do we have to integrate security early in the life of a system? It's very important to integrate security early in life. I remember when I was working on some agents with some agencies many years ago, before we started the cybersecurity. I started off as a software engineer. In software engineering, I was a lead software developer. So we developed all these systems without looking. We put our own security, but there was nothing like cybersecurity. And I'm talking about high level intelligence projects. So now we have to now start incorporating security after we finish building the system. And guess what? It takes away a lot of time, resources, and all of that. Wasted a lot of time, because when you fix something, it breaks something else, because security was not in, it was not brought in the beginning, that the benefit of security was not used. So now integrating security early is very important. So let's look at the benefits. Early identification of and mitigation of issues. So they can identify, and these are the issues. They can see security vulnerabilities early, low cost of control implementation, maximum security program return on investment. They look at awareness of potential challenges. They look at mandatory security requirements. They identify common and inherited items. So the common items, common control that can be inherited. We're going to look at all of this in the course. Which share security service. Some services can be shared between systems, so you don't have to start from scratch. And a lot of things are, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. They are there. This class is pretty much, it's not that technical because everything is there. I'm just going to show you how to use it and what to do. Reuse of security strategy and tools. How do you use your tools? Facilitation of executive decision making and comprehensive timely risk management. All of these things are the reason why we integrate security in early in the life of a system. And we'll be able to get to in all of these things in the class and see what it is. Okay. So my call to action would be, think about it. This is a very lucrative course. I really encourage you to enroll on this course and take action. Don't just watch this video and sit back on it. I'm here to help you be part of the billionaire club. People are making tons of money. You've seen all the testimonials, what people are saying about this course and what I do, and you've seen the awards. So don't waste time, enroll, and I'll meet you on the other side. So let me break it down for you further. What is the risk management framework that we're going to be using in this class? There are a couple of documents. In this class, you don't have to buy any book because I already have the book for you that we're going to be using on the other side that we'll be using for the course, okay? So the risk management framework, it promotes near real time. So the document is in NIST 837. NIST 837 is the document that we're going to be using in the class, and I'm going to provide that for you. It's not big, it's a smaller, document and all that. So promote real-time risk management and ongoing authorization using robust continuous monitoring process. So it's ongoing, it's real-time. And the use of automated support tools for decision making. It promotes all of this, okay? And also integrate security with enterprise architecture and system development lifecycle. So we're making sure that the enterprise, so when you will have an enterprise architecture, that means all over the organization, when we're talking about maybe a bank or hospital, so that means all over the branches of that hospital or different, wherever they're located, everyone is in line with this security, is integrated all over the organizations, wherever divisions they have, and all of that. It's very good. Provide equal emphasis on all the phases of risk management framework. So all the risk management framework, all of the emphasis is all of them. There's no one that's more important than the other ones. You get to see the RMF in the next slide. All the steps, and we'll explain everything to you. Links risk management to all organizational levels. So every level of organization is also involved, and establish responsibility and accountability, making sure everybody is responsible and accountable. And we're going to be also looking at the benefits of tiers of risk management. There are different tiers of risk management. We're going to break those down. We're going to implement by risk executive function, and the enterprise architecture and information lifecycle focus. This is a slide as well, so you see it in the next slides as I go. This is just a cover sheet. And disciplines and structure process, flexible and agile implementation. So these are the benefits of risk management, but we discussed that for that. So we're looking at organization-wide risk management, tiers of risk management. So this is an holistic approach to risk management. So managing risk from information system perspective is an holistic approach. So you see the potential mission of business impact. It helps us understand risks to organization operation and asset and individual, other organization and nations. What is this is going to help us to see security from this angle. From the angle of senior leaders and authorizing official involvement is going to involve everybody. Allocating and prioritizing of security resources, consideration of other types of risk. We're going to see, are there any other risks? So from the organizational level, we look at strategic goals and objectives. Complex, many-to-many relationship among their mission and business process. So from the top organization level to mission and business process level. So from the top executives into the managerial area, onto the engineering area. So we're going to break that down in the next slide. Organization level, business, mission and business process level, and information system level. Let me use an example. Let's say the government want to do something. The government said, okay, let me use a typical example that we've seen. President Trump said, I want to build the bridge, and I want to build the wall, and I will want to make Mexico or some other country to pay for it. So that's an organization goal and objective. It can be complex, it can be many-to-many, but now bringing it down from executive to the business process, mission and business process. Think about the Senate. The Senate will look at it and be like, is it aligned with our budget? Is it aligned with our mission and business process? Can we do it? Do we have budget for it? If it's possible, then it's going to be implemented. If it's not possible, then it stays there and it's going back and forth. You understand? So now, information, if it's possible, then they pass it down to information system level where it will be implemented. So you see, as we go in, I will explain that further in the next slide. So this is the next slide. So we're looking at tier 1, which is the governance organization level. Tier 2 is mission and business process, and tier 3 is information system and environment of operation. In tier 1, we're looking at strategic risk. What are the risks involved in the strategic level? And we now move it down to tactical level, which is level where we can touch and feel and actually see the risk. Okay, so it's kind of low down. So that's what risk management is. Risk management is an holistic activity that is fully integrated into every aspect of the organization, from the tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3. It helps us to manage this our risk all over the organization wide. So in tier 1, what happens? Addresses risk from organization perspective, like I used the example of the war, right? Develop a comprehensive governance structure and enterprise-wide risk management strategy. This is what we want to do. There's a strategy in place. Then tier 2, we take this strategy, the Senate, right? Like my example I was using. Address risk from a mission and business process perspective. It is guided by risk management related decision taking at tier 1. So it looks at it and be like, oh, okay, and let's see, maybe we can do it based on the decision that is taken tier 1, tier 2 takes from there. The tier 3 addresses risk from the information system perspective. Okay, tier 2 say we can do it. Based on the decision that they're giving us on tier 2, in tier 2, then we decide, okay, let's see, we have to now define what control. Is this system specific, hybrid, or common control that we have to put in place on tier 3? So this is everything broken down. So we have the risk management framework. In the course of this class, you will see that we're going to take all of these steps of the RMF one by one. So you see this is the risk management framework security life cycle. This is a life cycle of how a system will have to go through the RMF steps. So when we talk about this RMF step, we're pretty much looking at the life of a system whereby a system is created from the beginning until when it gets approval to be used by the customer. So all we're doing is we're guiding the process. We're making sure that they meet the requirements, and at each step, the system is following the rules. So for example, if you bought a used car, you can't just take the car and start driving it. Okay? You have to go through a process of inspection, and then you can get your tag at the NVA or DMV before you can start driving. Because if you just take your car and start driving, then police is going to get you, right? So now that's what we're saying. Before a system can become operational, it has to go through an approval process. So the first thing is called prepare information system. This is a step whereby we prepare for information security of that system, making sure the system is secure. Start looking at the strategy, start looking at how to prepare for it in the organization level. Actually, the prepare is done by the customer, whoever is the owner of the system. They need to understand their system and know exactly what they want to do. So they prepare ahead to be able to meet with the developers to tell them, okay, this is what we want to do. That's prepare. Whatever we do without preparing, you will fail. So prepare, that's what we prepare is. Then categorize. The system is now categorized based on the preparation. We will know if it's a low system, a moderate system, or high system based on the CIA. So there's a way in which you categorize the system based on what we call the high water mark. And I'll teach you in the class how to do that. So we have FIPS 199 and the document that we use to support that. In the class also, we break all of these things down. The FIPS 199 is just talking about the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. SP 800-6 is pretty much talking about the type of information. Is it for education? Is it for transportation? What kind of information it is? So from categorization, we'll not look at control. The control, what are the baseline control? The basic control that we have to use to implement this, to get control in place. Then we look at implementation. How do we implement this control onto the system? Then we look at assessment. How do we test this control, right? And we now look at authorization. If everything has been tested and we now is deemed fit to be operational, let's authorize it. The authorizing official will authorize it, and then after authorization, the customer can start using it. The customer and all of the people that want to use it can start using it, and then we have to monitor, make sure that they are in compliance, so they're not thrown out of compliance. So these are the steps of the RMF: from prepare, categorize, select control, implement control, assess control, authorized information system, monitor security state of the system. So that's the RMF step. So we're going to go over that throughout the life of the course and pick it one by one. It's going to be fun. By the time you finish the class, you'll be able to adequately understand and discuss this. And that is your gateway to the job, because when you're able to discuss all of these things, you get into the job market. You easily, I'm telling you, get in. And that's my mission, to make sure you can get the job. And this is what I've said already. I broke it down here for you. Again, prepare. Step 0, step 1, step 2, step 3. All that I've said, I just broke it down here so that you can also see it. Step 4, step 5, step 6. So those are the steps of the RMF. My call to action is that consider enrolling in this course. You will never regret it. You will enjoy it. You get to be in a community. If you have any questions, you get to reach out and ask your questions. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I've supported over 1,000 plus engineers. You can be part of these engineers. I'm also on Clubhouse every Sunday night, and more than that, I'm always available to help. So be part of it, and you will never regret it. I thank you for your time for watching this master class, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Thank you so much for your time, and may God bless you. Thank you, and have a nice day. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.